everybody, and welcome to day 4. Oh my god, they've done it. They've only gone and done it. They've only 4 entire days worth of podcasting. My god, they're amazing. I should give them all my worldly possessions and every bit of money I have. That's how good they are. That's the subtitle for this day's podcast. It's day 4 of God is a Geek's Game of the Year deliberations. My name is Adam Cook. Possibly the longest introduction I've ever done is going to be followed by me saying, welcome back, Adam Carroll.
Hi, how are you?
I am marvellous.
Good.
That's a lie, but hey, in the world of entertainment, sometimes you got to lie for the audience. Chris White, how are you?
Hello, I'm bloody good.
Okay.
Bloody good.
That's also a definite lie. And Gary Bailey, how are you?
I'm alright.
Well, we know that's a lie. We yesterday discussed. What did we discuss? It's at the point now where we have done so much discussing that I do need a list. And yesterday we did best multiplayer, which I'm not going to say what one because you go and listen to it. You should know anyway. God's sake, come on. And best visuals. That's a bit aggressive. Sorry, everybody. Today we've got 3 awards up for grabs. One of which we didn't do last year, or I've deleted the file. I'm not sure. But we've got this day we've got best audio, we've got best VR game, and we've got best moment. Now, before we get started, best moment is the part where there's going to be spoilers. They are literally moments in gaming this year, which means they're going to be big story beats. We're not going to just launch into them and go, we will lead into them by talking about what the game is and why they're the best moment, but just be aware that's happening. So we're starting with best audio. Last year, it doesn't surprise me, the winner was Hellblade, with Breath of the Wild, Resident Evil 7, PUBG, interestingly, and Figment in 5th place, so in that 1 through 5.
Wow, I forgot about Figment.
Yeah, I think a lot of people did, Gaz. Because it came out this year on Switch, didn't it?
Yeah, I think you did. And again, nobody bought it.
Nope. But this year we have 11 games on our shortlist for Best Audio, and they are as follows. Marvel's Spider-Man, God of War, Forza Horizon 4, Red Dead Redemption 2, Sea of Thieves, Far Cry 5, The Messenger, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, Tetris Effect, Celeste, The Banner Saga 3. You can't see it, but every one of those I was just doing some kind of hip-hop gesticulation behind the mic. But you couldn't see it.
You probably shouldn't have admitted that, Adam.
Well, hey, I will always be cool. I listen to the 1975 like the kids and the adults. I'm that cool. Best audio, 11 games. The thing is about this list, right, is I know, and I'm not going to show my hand, I know there's 2 games on this list that I think are the ones fighting for the top spot. I'm not going to say what they are. No one actually, we need to stop spoiling what we're going to say here. But at the moment, there's 11 games. And we need to start going through them and getting 6 of them off before we can even get our top 5 into an order. Where do we start?
Far Cry 5.
Wow.
Have it. No.
Okay, let's get into it. We're going to get cranky here, but let's get into it. I don't know, is Far Cry 5 the strongest, lads? Is it worse? If we're going to have to start cutting, is Far Cry 5 the first one to cut? Because in my opinion of that list, yeah,
I wouldn't have gone for it first, but I do agree with you. I'm trying to think of something memorable about its audio.
That's the thing. It's just explosions. That's really all I remember. Unless someone wants to
someone's going to get cranky, he says.
Someone's going to get cranky, but that's kind of where I'm at with that game anyway. Personally, if anyone wants to fight it, let's have it.
I don't know. He has a day off and he comes back. And listen to this.
I don't think we should cut it yet. The radio stations were amazing. So you had your original soundtrack, and then you had the soundtrack written specifically for the cult, which played through as well, which was amazing. It wasn't just in the cars; it was everywhere. So I think the soundtracks alone were excellent. In terms of gameplay, it was just.
But this is best audio, Chris. Let's not be bringing illegal substances into the audio fight. That doesn't work.
All right, but I ain't ready to cut it yet. Present me why other games should be cut, like The Messenger and Super Smash Brothers and
The Messenger in terms of audio because it has probably the best. I am a big fan of games that I think I've said. Again, we've discussed so much. I can't remember when I said this or if I'm repeating myself. But The Messenger does this thing. I love it when games are they have music that's affected by what you're doing. And in the Messenger, like it's playing away, it's like it's 8-bit soundtrack, and then all of a sudden you go underwater and the soundtrack changes instantly, and that is just the coolest thing. And like for that alone, it would be in my list.
I feel like another game has done that.
No, it's not. It's not the only game that's done it, but it's done.
Yeah.
Probably the only one that's done it this year, maybe. It's just so cool though, and the soundtrack is amazing, and all the sound
soundtrack is
effects.
great.
It's just in terms of an audio package, I think it's wonderful.
Well, the voice acting in Far Cry 5 is really good. So does that fall under audio as well? Because of the...
I think
I think voice acting is in there.
I think it's in there, but I think I'm just going to 1, 2, 3. There's 3 games on this list with voice acting, and it's not as good as any of them. I don't personally think. I mean, I'm not including Forza Horizon. I know that has voice acting, bad voice acting, but I do think there's 3 games that has way better voice acting, and all the other aspects are better too. And go on.
Like, I just think regarding the audio situation here, we should definitely take into account that, like, not to jump straight into Forza right now, but like Forza's audio is excellent, and it's a load of cars. Do you know what I mean? So it is a hard one because we are up against there's not many voice acting games, and that kind of always stands out more than everything else. So I don't know. It's difficult enough, but like the Messenger, I love it. I love the music, but I've heard it. I've heard this like before. I've heard this kind of style.
Oh, Adam, the music's good. Come on, it's exceptionally good.
It's really good, but it's kind of all the rage when it comes to those games. It is,
and yet I can hear when I just think about that game. I can literally hear the music. That's pretty memorable. You know the one I'm talking about.
Yeah, definitely, 100%. Like, I do love it, but we're going to have to start somewhere.
Well, let's start with the Banner Saga.
What?
No, I actually.
Or do you know what? No. I know that's one of Chris's games. Let's start with Forza Horizon 4.
No. What do you got to say, Gary?
Yeah, not having that yet.
Forza Horizon 4 has a good use of licensed music in a car game, like all car games that have radio stations, right?
And it has...
Its car sounds are good, and some of them they've been using for years.
Good.
They're very good.
And
they
some
are
of them they've been using...
outstanding.
And they have been outstanding for the last 8 Forza games. On top of that, the
Can't
voice
really
acting
discount it just because the previous games were good.
No, but the voice acting is horrendous. Horrendous voice acting. This is a game, and I remember saying this on the podcast, and I'm going to say it again. This is a game made by an English studio, set in England, and they don't get English voices right. At all.
Still,
and that, to me,
it's
is
a very
unforgivable.
small part of a game.
Oh,
and
Gary. They open the game. They open the game with the cutscenes, the awful cutscenes that the series has to drop sooner or later.
You're
They have to find
criticising
another way of doing
voice
that.
acting in a driving game, though.
Don't put it in then.
It's not really the biggest
Don't
thing.
put it in then. I'm not saying it's the biggest thing, but I'm saying that if this is a list of 5 games, I can think of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe 6 games on this list that are almost flawless in terms of audio production. And Forza, for me, isn't one of them. And the thing is, we can keep going around the houses and Chris can say no to Far Cry and you can say no to Forza Horizon, but we need to hear one that we're cutting then.
I'm going to say right now, though, there's no way Forza goes before Far Cry.
I think they
Not
both
a
go,
chance.
personally.
I mean,
But
adding
give us
Fortune Island as well when the storms kick in.
but
God.
that's not part of the game.
It is.
No, it isn't. You have to pay for that. That is DLC.
But it's still released this year and it's part of Forza Horizon 4. Surely that...
Only if you pay extra for it.
No, that's a fair point he's making. Like,
I do not agree. It's not that is not part
we
of the game
including
if you
DLC?
go and buy it in a shop.
We criticised Spider-Man because of DLC and stuff. We've
But
done
not
that.
in the audio part. We're not. We're a
No, but
Spider-Man's base
you
audio.
can't discount DLC in one thing and not the other.
You can when you're talking about the game you go and buy in the shop. Like if I go and buy a copy of Forza Horizon 4, put it in a fresh Xbox One, you're talking about saying it's best audio for something that I'm not got access to.
You've lost me because we still talked about DLC for other games when it was still
But not when we're
something
talking
you have
about
to
audio.
pay for. That's the thing. I'm
What
confused.
did we talk about, What did we talk about Spider-Man for then? When the DLC?
I can't remember. No, I remember us
It's not on
talking
our
about
top
it.
fives yet at all. I remember vaguely talking about the DLC, but again, I reckon that was another. Look, let's have another game then. Let's cut another game.
Super Smash Bros. Ultimate.
Oh, for fuck's sake, you are out of your
No.
mind.
Like,
I'm
What
sorry,
makes
because I
that
love you
so
to bits,
good?
but you are
Just out of curiosity.
because they have taken 74 games, about 50 different properties, and absolutely the attention to detail in the audio of that game is absolutely disgusting. Like, it is next level.
literally go into a museum of music and just sit there
Yep.
and listen to it, and it's like
And-
literally a feature of the game. You're just like, this is amazing.
Like, you go into a battle in World of Light mode and the background music's playing gently and you realise it's completely appropriate to the characters that are on screen. Do you know what I mean? The music in that game, isn't there something like 900 songs in it, Adam?
Something like that, yeah.
I'm going to Google that because I think it is something like insane. Like, I don't actually know how they fit in there. Music list. Well, I've warned people before about clicking and stuff. You will hear keyboards. Super Smash Bros. Probably has the thanks for the pop up there website. I don't know. Super Smash Bros. Ultimate has the largest video game soundtrack in history. Contains all the songs. Hang on a minute. Can I just have a list? Click here to view the full list. Will we get another pop up? Oh, holy shit! Okay, so there are. Oh my word! Hang on, sorry. I'm gonna have to just use the toolbar. There are 851 songs in this game. There's audio for every character. It is one of the best produced. It's complete. It's totally a love letter to fans, isn't it?
Yeah, completely. It's insane.
Like, I literally do not see a world in which that can't be on the top 5. I think that's a contender for number 1. It is flawless. Like, there's no more they could have done to make the audio work for that game.
Yeah, I have to agree there in some sense, but I'm just looking at this list, kind of wondering, like, I'm not going to give it away, but I didn't give Super Smash my number 1 personally.
It's my joint number 1. I will say that much.
Yeah, probably. It's
All right,
definitely.
Let's make it easy. Let's cut one that we gave a lot of attention to yesterday. Let's cut Sea of Thieves.
Do you think so?
Is audio its strongest? I'm not saying it's bad. Listen, any of these games they have good audio. Right? None of these games you're going, oh, this is terrible, it's terrible. But Sea of Thieves, what are you going to say is memorable about it? The fact you can play accordion or whatever, that's fun, but it is the same little tune. It does work. It's nicely done.
The sound when you're at sea and everything is good, and when you're underwater, remember when we were getting destroyed when the sea turned red and the boat started falling apart? That sounded exceptionally good.
It sounded good.
I'm not going to argue that it's top 5, but I do think it deserves more credit than just kind of saying it's not that great.
But that's not what we're saying. These are 11 great sounding games, but we can only have 5 of them. It's.
We haven't talked Tetris Effect yet. Is that staying? Is that a? I've not played it, so I'm just kind of.
Well, it's a difficult one because it's kind of all about the soundtrack. Because ultimately, it's Tetris and the sounds are the sounds, but the sound is essentially the soundtrack.
Sound.
Yeah, I mean, it is all about the soundtrack, which is fantastic. But it does. The soundtrack is enhanced by the visuals, if you see what I mean. Is that a good soundtrack just listening to it? Yeah, it is. If put it on Spotify or whatever, it is a good soundtrack. Does that make it best audio of the year? Chris?
No. Look, we need to cut some. So I say we just have a Call of Thieves, Far Cry, Messenger, Tetris, and go from there because we're never going to get through this list. Because the thing is, there's games we haven't talked about yet, which are going to take a while to work into a list because they're each amazing in their own right. So if we get rid of some, we can then start to assess the others. And I'm I'd happily I put the Banner Saga 3 on this list because Austin Wintory, don't get me, the score is amazing, but it is, for me, it isn't just about the score. It's about how sound brings this world to life when it is literally images on a screen. The dialogue is just an image with some text on. There's some slight movement, like the hair moves in the wind. That's literally all you can see, and then it'll cut to the caravan traipsing across this world, and it's literally this little caravan and these people walking across a painting. There's a lot that the audio brings these little moments to life, like with the sound of the caravan moving and the hustle and bustle of the people talking. You know, there's a lot of detail in that one scene that brings it to life when essentially it's just a moving painting. And it's also the battles are brought to life by the rousing music and the more delicate moments he's written scores for that just make moments quite emotional when, as I keep saying, you're just looking at images, and that's a real talent to be able to do that. And you know, he's a master of writing scores for games because he did things like Journey, and you know, he knows what he's doing. And I think the audio on Banner Saga 3 is excellent, but you know, there's a lot of good games on this list, but they deserve to be a nomination 100% because it's incredible.
So are you saying we keep it or cut it?
No, because I could talk stronger about other games just because the audio's, you know, perfection in them. But I think we just need to have a bit of a call so we can start getting to the real meat.
So what are we cutting? What are we cutting here? So we've got 5 games to go.
Far Cry, Thieves, Messenger.
Right. Any dissent against cutting Far Cry?
No.
No.
Any dissent against cutting Sea of Thieves?
No. I think it is worth noting that it is very, very good audio, but it's not top 5.
Okay. What else was Messenger?
And Tetris. Tetris before Messenger. However, I will say the audio isn't. It is about the soundtrack. It's about how the sound works with the way you move your blocks, because there's music playing, but like when you move the block or you turn a block, it provides like a beat to the song as well. So it's all very interactive.
That's true. Actually, it's not
just a score. And
I'm not ready to cut Tetris, Chris. So you've reminded me that I'm not ready to cut Tetris. You take the audio out of that game's not as good.
No, it's a perfect pairing of audio and visuals, but the audio does make it
like
more.
That's like getting Res and saying that Res can't win best audio. You know, I don't think Tetris can be cut that so easily. I forgot about that stuff. Yeah, like the as you turn the blocks, the music changes. I forgot, man.
Yeah,
I don't think Tetris is a simple. I'm okay with the Messenger going if Adam is.
I am okay with the Messenger, but that kind of leads into Celeste as well, if I'm honest, because I think they have.
I thought this was coming.
Well, look, I think Celeste soundtrack is probably the soundtrack I may have listened to the most.
It's an amazing soundtrack.
It's incredible, but it's on the same kind of wavelength as the Messenger, but Celeste just stands out a bit more for me. But yet again, I probably would cut it, because if the Messenger doesn't stay, then I don't know if the Celeste stays. It's just they're too similar in sounds, I feel. Unless people have an argument for it. Like I love the way the characters speak and stuff.
Yeah, the sort of Simlish.
Yeah, it's really it adds a charm, but it's not like, oh my god, this is blowing my mind. Like it's not that level. Like I think even I haven't played Tetris Effect. I know how it works, and I've heard and seen how it comes together, and that's very cool.
But Celeste, I'm thinking of like as you get towards the end of that game and the music, the way it picks up, and it makes you feel like you're soaring. I think the music's integral to that game. I think it's not just good music. It's used well.
So okay, and no, like I'm sorry guys, but I'm amazed that Forza is still there right now.
Me too.
If we are talking Celeste and we're talking and the Messenger's gone and everything, Banner Saga's gone, like Forza kind of has to go now.
I do think I'm just not going to win this one. Even though I think its sounds are amazing, I think it's being discounted just purely because it's just Forza.
I don't agree, because we're not saying it's not amazing. There's 7 amazing games on this list, 7 amazing sounding games on this list as well. They're nominated, but we're talking about the best 5 of the year. And
I mean, I'd say Forza was better than Celeste, but
you don't
I'm
like
not-
Celeste.
I mean, I think Celeste's overrated. You guys
Yeah,
will
well,
never
we'll have
agree
that.
with me on that, but
No,
yeah,
we'll have that discussion later.
but yeah, I think
Well,
I
not
mean,
today, tomorrow.
I just don't think I'm going to win the argument with Forza, so
But
we might
what
as well.
what is the argument here? Like, what are you
mean,
saying makes Forza better than?
I mean, I think it's just the way, like, every car sounds unique. Every car sounds like it should sound. The way the
But I would
sound
argue that most
reverberates
people
off
won't notice
tunnels
that.
when you go through them, stuff like that. If you go into first-person mode, the car sounds how it should. Like, it muffles it slightly as you're in the car.
But can I just counterpoint that by saying, if you were just tuning into this podcast at that moment, you could have been talking about Forza Motorsport 7.
Does that
And that's
matter?
not. I
Just
think it
'cause
does
the-
when
the
you're
cars
deciding the
sound similar,
5
it's-
best of the year, because I think, like Super Smash, what it does is just it revels in pleasing. It's just it's an achievement. Like that, I don't know. Like when I think about how long that game took, I wonder if it was because the amount of music they was creating or reusing or whatever, but just. I think these other games, and there are 1, 2, 3 we haven't really talked about, and I think we all know why we haven't talked about them, because we are going to, but that's because they're 5 bloody locks, you know. And I think of those, I think one is like probably my winner, personally, and it pushes boundaries. Like the one I'm not gonna, well, let's just we're down to 7. We may as well. I'm talking about Red Dead Redemption 2. I think that game sets a new bar in terms of audio production. I think it pushes boundaries. It does things with voiceover specifically that I actually don't understand mechanically how that is programmed. Like it blows my mind. And while Forza Horizon 4 I think is an amazing game, and it does sound great, of course it does, I just don't feel it's on the same level as Smash.
I will agree to
You
cut
know.
in Forza if we're cutting Celeste. Because I just...
Trouble is, you do that, I think you have to cut Tetris.
if
Because
we're doing...
again-
I mean, are we doing that then? Do we do that?
We
Just-
can't, because then we've got 4. We can't cut Forza, Tetris, and Celeste. We've only got 4 games.
And I'll just-
Unless we bring back one we can't.
I'll just say one final thing on Forza then. It's just like driving around the countryside with Horizon Pulse playing is perfect.
And yet, I don't use Pulse. I don't listen to Pulse.
You're listening to the wrong one then, aren't you?
No, I like good music. That's the trouble.
Then why are you not listening to Pulse?
Because I like the other stations. I can't remember the name of it, but there's another station I listen to. What's the one with the Foo Fighters track on?
I forget the name of it.
Yeah, same. But that one essentially. But that's a personal tasting. My thing about that is that I still would prefer to go back to the old days of 360 where you could play your own music whilst playing a game, and you'd get that. It would replace the radio. You'd still get the game sound, but it would be mixed in a clever way. I don't know why that. I think you can do that again.
Yeah, you can. Well, you can just
It's
turn.
not
you
as
can-
easy as.
Yeah, you can turn the radio off as well and just have your own
True.
music playing if you really want.
But it's a lot easier. It was 360. It was sort of integrated in a way. Listen, this isn't a podcast to talk about the Xbox One versus the 360, but a lot of things the 360 did, and a lot of them were related to driving games, like the soundtrack, the automatic choice of like what car you'd use, what view you'd use, a lot of that baked in stuff on the dash. It amazes me that's gone, but I don't know. I'm not picking on Forza because it's in my list for another list later on, but
No, I mean it's a democracy here, so it's.
yeah, but at the moment it's just you and me. I think we need
that's-
to hear
I
Chris.
think-
We need to hear Adam.
Well, I think Adam's already said he's fine for it to go.
I am, yeah.
So
I've never played it. I've played Celeste,
Oh.
and I like the audio in Celeste.
Okay, so if we cut Forza, sorry guys, it will get its moment.
I don't think it will.
And I know. I think it will. I think it will. And I do think I know one of our listeners will be raging right now, and I'm not. But we have a problem here with Tetris and Celeste right now.
Yeah. I can't personally defend Tetris. I just can't. So I'm naturally going to go with Celeste. But if you're really passionate about Tetris, because I know it does something new in a way for a Tetris game anyway, as such. If you're
Right,
really
lads,
passionate
hang
about it,
on.
then...
I'm going to drink this beer.
All right. Ooh, beer.
And I'm going to ask you this question. The viewers, or actually listeners in this case, it's an audio form, can't see the list of 6 games on our list right now. You guys can. I'm going to ask you this question, and I'm only going to ask it once. What if we keep Tetris and Celeste both on the list? Okay? What if we do that? And what if we cut the one that's currently numbered number 1 on our list?
Hell no. I think Chris would back me up on that one.
Think about it. Think about what I'm saying. Think about... I'm asking you...
Think about what it does with the voice acting.
Hang on. I'm asking you to divorce yourself from the idea of how good the game is overall. I'm asking you to forget about the visuals. I'm asking you to forget about the movement. I'm asking you to think specifically and exclusively about the audio. I'm asking you to think about how it starts with that song and you're like, wow. And then I'm asking you to remind me of a single piece of music that plays the rest of the game. I'm asking you to tell me if it's even the best voice acting on this list. I'm asking you to tell me if there's repeated dialogue in the NPCs. I'm asking you to tell me if you think that the sound of the city itself is anything amazing more than other games. Or I'm asking you to think about what the NPCs say and how they just say the same thing. I'm not saying it's a bad game, and I'm not saying it has a bad audio design. I'm asking if it genuinely is one of the 5 best audio designs of this year. Because the way I think about it, compared to the competition there, I don't personally think it is. And the game for the listeners, by the way, that tirade I've just been on, is Marvel Spider-Man.
But I mean, it's stuff like they recorded 2 sets of audio for Spider-Man for when he's out of breath, basically, and when he's just standing around. That level of detail has to be...
To play devil's advocate, if we hadn't all read that article, I forget, apologies, it's not me not knowing, I can't remember, but someone wrote an article about that. If we hadn't all seen that and it got tweeted around, would you be saying that to me now?
We'd have noticed it. I'd noticed it before reading the article about it.
Okay, I hadn't, sorry.
It's like
because how would I? Because you only see those incidents once. It's a cool thing to do. There's no question about it. It is a really cool thing to have done. It's a nice attention to detail. I will definitely agree with that. I'm just positing it because it solves the problem of 5 and 6 on this list at the moment.
I think it just creates a new problem, personally.
Like, I think Spider-Man... I think what you're saying there, guys, like, it's fair. It's a really cool thing. But, Adam, when you said, if we didn't read that, like, I honestly didn't even think of that moment.
But how could you have noticed it? Because the thing is, how could you have noticed it unless you were playing those bits over and over again?
You notice it because, like, you'll be standing on a roof when he starts talking, and then you start swinging, and suddenly he's out of breath as he's talking.
I mean, if you can honestly say you noticed it, then I will say hands down, fair play. I don't think I would have.
I definitely noticed it. And
if I played it with headset on, I might have. I didn't. So.
Well, I do. I always play with headphones.
Fair play. I didn't. You see, not for that game at all. So I didn't notice it until I saw the article.
It's like the score though just sounds Spider-Man. You know,
I couldn't tell you a single bit about the score to that game, which isn't the be all and end all of this award. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that I couldn't tell you a thing about the soundtrack to that game, apart from the opening, which is very cool.
The thing about it is, though, right? You got like the moment of Spider-Man that always got me was when you initially start to swing, and the music kind of starts soaring.
Yeah,
and it's really cool, and it makes it feel fantastic. I also have to give credit to the Jonah Jameson podcast. Like, that's hilarious. It's really entertaining.
Okay, yeah, fair enough. Personal preference, I suppose.
Peter Parker's voice acting as well.
Okay,
so good.
No,
you feel the emotion.
Just putting it out there. Okay, no, fine. If I'm in the wrong, fair enough. I'm just putting it out there.
You're not in the wrong because it's fair what you're saying. But then, no, I won't say that. It's tricky. it's just tricky because when I'm looking at the list now, I I don't know. I'm stuck with this now. This is really difficult.
I'll be honest, from the stuff that we've talked about so far, Celeste is the one that sticks out to me. And don't start in on me because I hate it or anything like that. It's nothing to do with that. It's just, honestly, I just don't think that's that memorable in terms of its sound.
But is there more just the fanboy within you when it comes to Spider-Man kind of creeping through?
No, because it was just genuinely a good sounding game. Like I say, I mean, I always love like a good soundtrack like that, and that hits you. It makes you feel like you're Spider-Man. And like I say, the voice acting, when, you know, the emotion between him and, like, well, I suppose I'm going to have to spoil a little bit. But like, when he's talking,
we are going to have to start spoiling. Like, we're getting into it now. It's day 4, for fuck's sake.
Yeah,
come on.
it's stuff between him and Octavius. You know, it's well done.
You had me for a minute. I thought you were going to go a different direction. I think the Octavius stuff are some of the worst bits of the game, in every respect. Not just like because this is a different discussion. When you're not Spider-Man, the game's not amazing. Do you know what I mean? Well, Amazing Spider-Man. Just realised. That's probably what... Never mind. But that stuff, I just found it so obvious that I found that it could have been the best voice acting in the world. My eyes were so far rolled back in my head every time those two were on screen. It bugged the shit out of me. Not that it was bad, but I couldn't concentrate because it was like, fucking hell. We get it.
Look, I'm going to step in here.
Okay, I was waiting for this, Chris.
I'm just formulating my thoughts on what I'm going to say.
Your attack pattern. Yep.
Because I think the audio, and like Gary, like, yes, we love Spider-Man, but I think as a game that stands on its own, there's some moments where there's some real brilliance in the audio, such as the detail of when you're running up the side of a building. This is just one small thing out of 100. It's the different. Like, he runs up a window, it squeaks. It's got the squeak. He runs up a wall, it's thud. There's the different sounds that he makes when he's walking on different, like, surfaces. There's so many different ones. There's the audio of the people of the world. They're all having their own conversations. If you just sit there and listen, they're talking to each other. When you play through the game and something's just happened, say you've just had a fight in a museum, there are people talking about it on the streets. J. Jonah James's podcasts reacting to everything that you're doing, and I get that it's pre-written, but it comes in randomly after you've done something. That's really good. The combat of there's so many different weapons and things happening, and that's all crystal clear, and the audio helps you to work out who's firing at you, whether it's a machine gun, whether it's a rocket, whether it's a electro bomb. There's all that. That's really good as well. The voice acting, I think, is really good, and I think between Spider-Man and Octavius, there's a good rapport. I don't think it is the best, but I think when Peter Parker, as dull as it is playing as him, when he's talking to his auntie, who, we all know that he's been around, like, he's now 23, so since the films or whatever, that's a good 6 years. So, and through the history of Spider-Man, we all know about Aunt May. However, as it gets to the end of the game, and she's lying on the bed at the end, that music, like, I haven't even talked about the score yet. The score is superb, and that music makes that scene, like, it really hits home. And like, I don't think anyone was expecting to see her die. I think that was completely out of the blue. We all assumed that she would get better and that Spider-Man would save the day, but he doesn't. He doesn't fail, but he doesn't save her, and like, that music just nails that scene completely. And I just think constantly, like, as Gary was saying, when you're swinging around the city and it builds as you're higher up, or it builds when you're about to reach a mission, and the music through each of the missions is excellent as well. And it just, there's so many facets of the audio in this game where I don't think you could, put it higher than Tetris, definitely. And for me, but more, lower down than Celeste, because the amount of effort and work that's gone into the smallest detail in Spider-Man is is remarkable. So I think it's for me it's in the top 5.
So okay, hang on. So look, right. The game we haven't spoke about yet properly is Red Dead. We haven't at all spoke about God of War. I just want a quick one-word answer to this. Are we all saying God of War is in the top 5 here?
Yeah.
I'd say so.
Right, so then it comes down to the simple question really is which game stays, Tetris or Celeste?
See, for me, out of the two, I would say Celeste stays. Even though what Tetris does is great, the others deserve... I'm not saying it doesn't deserve to be in this, but they are better overall.
So you're saying Celeste stay... You're saying we cut
I'd say
Tetris.
Celeste stays, yeah.
But importantly, you're saying Tetris cut.
Unfortunately, but it would be just outside the 5. But yeah, cut it because this is the best 5 for me. So
okay, so it's just this. I'm surprised. I thought this would be a 10-minute list. This is what I thought. This would be the quick one. So Chris's vote is that Tetris cut, and we're down to 5. Adam, Tetris or Celeste? What are you cutting?
I'm gonna have to say Tetris. Even I haven't played it, but I'm gonna have to say it.
And Gary?
Yeah, I think that's it. Like, virtue of the fact that all 4 of us have played Celeste, whereas only 2 of us have played Tetris.
I would cut Celeste and
way.
keep Tetris, but it's 3-1, which means we have a list of 5 now. We got there, 36 minutes, and we got there. By hook of that, does Celeste stay at 5?
Spider-Man's still there. All right.
for me, it does.
Yeah,
Spider-Man
so.
Spider-Man top Celeste.
So you're saying Spider-Man goes at 4?
I say yeah. Spider-Man goes at 4. Celeste goes at 5, and the next 3 are easy for me. But should we just get into God of War?
I think so because we haven't mentioned it at all.
And
it's currently in this list of 5 at the
yeah,
top. And
exactly.
I don't think it's staying there.
I mean, it goes without saying that the score itself, Bear McCreary has written an absolute masterpiece from top to bottom. I was getting emotional right at the start when they're they're saying goodbye to the mother. That whole scene is just fucking hits you really hard, and you don't know anything about what's happened yet. You don't really know why he's living in a cabin in the world of the Norse mythology. We're used to seeing a completely different Kratos in God of War. There's a real emotional backbone to this, and that is helped by Bear's. I keep calling it. I don't. It's a weird name. Great name. Sorry, Bear. But Bear's score is just remarkable. Then you've got the voice acting, which is probably bar Red Dead the best of the year, and it's the way it's very dynamic. We were talking about it on a couple of days ago with when you're in the boat and you're talking and you're having a conversation, and then you have to get off and you go and do what you need to do on one of those whatever they are, and then you come back and he's like, right, where were we? And then he carries on. That's really good. Then you've got the combat
just to be devil's advocate on that. It's not the first game to have done that.
I'm not saying it is.
Just putting it out there.
On this list.
It's
not even the only game on this list that does it.
I'm formulating everything. There's a lot more than just that, but it just does everything so well. And I think, God of War, the voice acting as well, it is amazing.
So would it surprise you if I said I agree with everything you've just said, but I think it goes to number 3?
See, I don't think it's 1, but I don't think it's 3 either. And I know this is going to be tough because I've got a feeling it's going to be you and Adam saying Smash is 2.
See, I think God of War and Smash are both impressive in different ways, but they are both equally impressive in those ways.
Okay.
Smash is one of those games that every time you play it, you're like, oh, that's cool. I wasn't expecting it's beyond the Call of Duty. The music that will play in Smash will be some little remix of the Mario theme because you're fighting, I don't know, Piranha Plant. He's not in the game, but for example, there will be some variation No, Yoshi. Yoshi's a good example. You're going to fight Yoshi on a Mario-themed level, and there's some little remixed version of the Mario theme in the background that you hear for 15 seconds while it's loading. And that's just magnificent. It's so clever, so reverent to its source material. But it's also newer in my mind. It's fresher, and for that, I think actually what you said about God of War, I would be absolutely fine with God of War at number 2 and Smash at number 3. Could be swayed, but personally speaking, you've just swayed me in favour of God of War.
I mean, Smash doesn't have Jormungandr's voice either.
No, but it could
that
do.
Voice.
It might. I don't know. Oh, the brown note. Yeah. Forgot about the brown note. I couldn't believe that was. Yeah. Yeah, I forgot about that. Adam?
I am going to say that God of War was always my number 2.
Okay.
And that's just because I just think the voice acting, when voice acting is like this and Red Dead, if I'm honest, are my favourites. Right?
Yeah.
I'm going to say it straight out. And I'm going to have to say that Red Dead is my number 1.
Oh, with a
But we'll
bullet.
get into that. But with God of War, I just think it's just so strong in its voice acting. Like the whatever about it, like even when you're talking about the actual like combat audio, you can hear every thump. It's just there's so much impact, and you can feel all the emotion that Kratos is laying out and stuff, and you're like, this is amazing. But it's just the way he talks to his kid and stuff, and how his kid talks to him, and you're just like, yeah, this is just fantastic. And I go like Smash is just one of those games that's just like, this is just a delight. I know all this. I remember all this. This is great. But God of War is just so much stronger because it is new, and that to me is number 2. But if we're all good at number 2,
well, are we? We'll talk about Red Dead. We have to. But are we? Is that list it? Like, I'm not revealing it to the listeners yet, but is that list it?
Yeah,
I'm
happy.
I think it is
fully behind Red Dead, fully behind it.
But the rest of the list, like I'm talking 1 through 5, is that? Are we there?
Seems that way.
So, well, let's do it this way then. So in 5th place is Celeste, 4th place Marvel Spider-Man, 3rd place Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, 2nd place God of War, and the winner of Best Audio. And I completely agree with what Chris has just said. Red Dead Redemption 2 is revolutionary with its audio like that.
Yeah.
So what I alluded to earlier is the it was talked about how much dialogue they had recorded, but sometimes when that sort of story comes out, you sort of go, yeah, all right, course you have, lads, course you have. I believe every single bit of that, because walking into camp and having your friends react to you with unique voice lines, and then disappearing into the world for like 5 games of, just basically disappearing into the wilderness for a week and living as Arthur Morgan, then coming back to camp and then reacting to you again with yet more unique audio lines. I don't actually understand how they've done that.
I'll be honest,
I understand it works. I just don't understand mechanically how they have. There's stuff triggered, like you'd just be wandering around town and they're just reacting to the world. It makes that world. The world itself is amazing, but the voice acting and the reactiveness of it makes the world 10 times more believable than if it wasn't there.
Yeah.
I have to give massive credit to its music.
Yep.
Oh,
Like
God.
the music is like I'm on Rockstar's page every day to see when they're going to release that soundtrack.
Yeah.
I need it so badly in my life, and I just think like it carries. There's so many moments as such when you reflect on Red Dead, but like when the music, a lot of it is music for me, and there's something about like that moment when like you're riding, all of you are just going along together in Dutch.
Sorry, you've just reminded me I need to add a moment.
Oh yeah.
Sorry, it's another Red Dead moment to the next, the latest award on this podcast. Go on, carry on. Sorry, Adam.
But you're going along with Dutch and the crew, and he's just shouting out. He's like, "One more time, boys, one more time!" And you're just like, this music is playing. You're just like, "Fucking all right, here we go." It's like, it's so cool that way, and it just nails such a tone.
Can we also talk about the fact that the voice acting is the best voice acting ever recorded for any game ever in history? Like how it is the most believable, realistic voice acting ever in a game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I have to wholeheartedly agree. I think it's just like ridiculous how good it is. Except for
I
one
wonder
character.
what they did to. Yeah, I spoke to our mutual friend and he liked. Which character are we talking about? Just so I know we're on the same wavelength.
It's are we going in spoilers?
Yeah.
No, Gaz hasn't played it.
No, don't worry
fully,
about
has he?
that. Don't worry about that.
Oh, maybe we're not talking about the same character.
It's a small person. That's all I'll say.
Okay, it's not who I was thinking of.
I've discussed it with you, Adam, over text message because of age.
Oh, sorry. Yes, sorry. No, I think the voice acting is good. I think so. I'm confusing myself a little bit by saying I can't think what his bloody name is. I've just been talking to him in the game recently this week. The Irish lad you rescue earlier on in the game.
Oh,
Sean.
Sean. It is Sean, isn't it?
Sean. Yeah, Sean. Yeah, because you did the
I'm
homestead
sure it
robberies
is.
with him.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sean. Yeah.
I think I'm not Irish, Adam, you are, but I think his voice acting is great. It is authentic as such.
Yeah, it is.
But he is just such a prick. It makes me... I can't stand... I know some people think he's a great character. Like, those moments wind me right up. Like, he is just constantly needling Arthur about him being an old bastard, and, I nearly did the accent then, but I won't. But he's like, I don't know. But it's still... The fact that it can elicit that reaction at all is pretty fucking incredible.
And that. Go on, sorry, Adam.
No, I was just going to quickly add that I love that it's Colm O'Driscoll and they all just go calm.
Yes.
Colm O'Driscoll. Calm. You're just like, why calm?
That's the only bad thing in it. Like, it just
It's not
happens that we
necessarily
know
bad.
a column, and it's obviously you're Irish, but even I know how to say his name. Is
it's
that
kind of-
an incorrect way of saying
Is
it?
it
or
not just the accent though that?
I
No,
think it's
I
just-
don't think so. I think it's
I think
it
it's
sounds wrong to
intentional.
me. Do you think so?
I think I think they mean to do that. I think I do think Gary's right in saying the accent thing. I think it's just, I don't know, like Colm O'Driscoll, I don't know.
But to be fair, Ads, like some Irish names, if you didn't know them, like one Aoife, for example, like you see that written down, and if you're not Irish, you look at that and you go, Ioffe, don't you? And like Siobhan can be another one. Like,
Jesus,
is that Sibylhan? Do you know what I mean? Like, and Colm is one where, and if he's listening, he's going to love that we're just talking about his name. But it is one of those names where, unless you're told, there's no way I'd look at that and go, Colm? But I think it is an accent thing, because I think saying that name makes you sound like you're doing an Irish accent, like Colm. It sounds like a name that could only be Irish. Do you know what I mean? I don't know why we're talking about this so much. But yeah, like Red Dead, we'll talk about it more anyway. Red Dead's the winner. Fair play.
Can I just give
course,
one
Gaz,
quick
sorry.
shout out? Just because I'm just playing it now, obviously, and it's a bit late. I'm not playing enough of it, but Below's soundtrack is gorgeous.
I've been meaning to play it, Gaz.
Yeah, I think it's weird because considering it's like quite a fantasy setting, almost, the soundtrack's very synth heavy, but it fits. And it sounds really good, and you've got like this really nice directional audio as well, and you're down in the caves and stuff, and you've got the little blips of water when they're dropping down, and you can hear, like, because you have each section is like a screen, it's almost like Zelda, like, you have different screens, and you could hear off in the distance there's something moving about. It's just got like a really nice level of detail to the audio. I just thought it's worth just giving it a shout.
No, December's been immense. Like, this is probably, behind the curtain, this is the latest we've ever recorded Game of the Year, because big games just kept coming. Like, this December you had Smash, you had Gris, you had Below, which, when we were even planning this, we didn't even know that had a release date. We had, and there's another, it's just Cause. Like, neither here nor there, but yeah, fair play. Maybe next year we need to do a 29 best of 2018 award, where it's like the game that we
Yeah.
caught up on. Maybe that I've been meaning to add that for a few years, but we always tend to catch up pretty well. But anyway, best audio goes to Red Dead. I'll read them back later on. Anyway, this award is the Adam Cook Award for best VR game, as sponsored by Chris White. And it's basically the best VR game. VR isn't going away. It's still a big thing. Sony have cut the price, and a lot of people picked it up in the Black Friday sales. We've got 10 games here. I do genuinely think this is going to be the easiest one to get through, because unfortunately, like, Adam's played a few of them. Gary's tried some of them in and out of VR, but this should be a quick list. The 10 games on it are Tetris Effect, Moss, Deracine, Astrobot Rescue Mission, Transference, Firewall 0 Hour, The Persistence, Arca's Path, Altered the Mansion, and Borderlands VR, which is another game that, like, really late in the year. I haven't played all of these, Chris, so I mean I'm going to have to yield to you a little bit on cutting them.
So,
I will say that I think Moss is overrated.
I haven't touched Moss.
So Moss is
like,
kind of like Astrobot Rescue Mission, but nowhere near as good. It's a charming, lovely game, but I found Moss, I had problems with the camera. Like it's the one game where I felt like I never got in the right position and I was not able to reach things properly. And
yeah,
it's a really good game, but
in VR, it's not. It's not.
No, it is
great,
only
is it?
VR. That one. It's a good game. Like it's a strong 7 or 7.5 out of 10 for me.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, I think we know that Astrobot and Tetris are locks here.
Definitely, Firewall's definitely a lock for
Okay.
me. Other games I'm happy to cut but like VR has been like the first time I played VR was 2017, the tail end when I played that LA Noire on the Vive, and that was literally it. The first time I played it, and then since then I've been fortunate enough to play a lot of VR, and there's like I think now we're at a point where they're really thinking about VR, and it's becoming more of a like. It's not an afterthought anymore with things. I think they're really kind of putting a lot of effort into it, and there's still a long way to go. Don't get me wrong, but they're actually making great games for VR. Like Firewall 0 Hour, I mentioned it the other day, where it's not. There's a lot of thought gone into how to make a first person shooter work, not just work, but put it online. And then not just make a typical deathmatch, but actually go to a lot of effort to make it like work in a team. So you're playing online with other people. And granted, I didn't have any friends that had it at the time. But I went online and met a guy who was like this really over the top American guy who was really funny, and then this guy from like Stoke, completely random, but we were all in this party and we went online and we had so much fun, and it's like one of the best kind of multiplayer moments for me. So,
but if that's the lock, shout some games that we need to cut then.
All right, I would cut Altered the Mansion only because
having not played it, I mean we just cut it straight
only
away.
Because the length of it. I mean, there's different endings, but it's literally it's not even a walking simulator. You're walking a linear path around this house,
right?
Which doesn't sound great, but because it's a horror game, it adds like it's. I actually had to stop. I never have to stop playing bar Alien Isolation. This is the only game I've ever had to stop playing, and I really struggled to get through it. It's 20 minutes, that's all. But it's what they do in that 20 minutes in VR with a headset on, like fucking hell, like props to them for making that, because it's excellent. Like it's a perfect like get your mates around, try out VR, put this on. It's a good game, but when you look at things like what we've talked about, it's not in the list. Deracine as well.
Okay.
Like I'm happy to cut Deracine. It's
right.
FromSoft VR game, which. You hear that, you think, oh, maybe that could be quite good.
And yet I've had it installed and not played it yet. Something tells me it's not a good.
It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's a point and click transporter, which I think we're getting to a point now where I get why they do it for people that suffer from bad motion sickness, but there's not even an option to just walk around. It'd be so much easier to do that.
Yeah.
And some of the puzzles aren't particularly easy to get to grips with, and not very clear how you would do things. The voice acting is a bit hammy kind of upper class English. Like
How Miyazaki thinks we speak, basically.
Yeah, exactly. But it's not a bad game. I just think some of the systems aren't explained brilliantly, and the point of what you've got to do is never too clear. You really have to look at everything, every item you see, which you don't know whether you can lift it up or touch it because there's nothing that kind of illuminates it to do that. But it took a lot longer to finish than other games do, and I wasn't a fan of that, so I'm happy for that to go. I'm not played Transference in VR.
Well, I think we have to cut it because I haven't played it in VR and you haven't, and Gary reviewed it in non-VR and he said we ain't missing much in another chat, so I think that has to just go now.
Yeah, go for it.
Yep.
What? Right, so Moss, are we cutting that or are we keeping that?
Well, it's difficult because I haven't played Persistence. I heard it's excellent. I haven't played Arcus Path and I didn't get time to try Borderlands VR.
Okay.
So it's difficult.
So
I have to trust you that if you say any of those worthy, that I do think Moss is a really good VR game. I think you'd love it personally.
I
just
think
I
would.
had problems, and I think it was setup based.
Yes.
I think I changed which room my VR was in, and I think it would be fine now.
Yeah. Well, oh fuck! I've just realised the Planet of the Apes game was amazing, but never mind. Arcus Path, it's a good puzzle game, but it gets a bit samey. It's very chilled out because you were literally just sat there moving your head. You're not even holding a controller,
Okay.
unless you want to free view like the place, which and one of the things that restricts it is the fact that you see something pretty in the distance and you want to look at it, you can't just turn your head and look at it because the ball will fall off a ledge. So
Right.
you're constantly looking at the ball, guiding it around. So, unless you press a button on the controller, but it kind of defeats the purpose of telling you it's completely controlled by your head. So, I'm happy to call that. In terms of the Persistence of Borderlands, I would rather keep the Persistence because it's a brand new game and it, bar Resident Evil, it was the first game I'd played that allowed me to move freely in 360 and no transporting. You can move if you want using the PS4 controller, and not just that, but it was actually quite clever in how you took down enemies, and it's a survival horror that kind of harks back to legitimate survival horrors where you have barely any items. You've really got to treat each area differently and go about it very smartly, because one false move and you're dead and you're back to the start. And if you walk into a room and there's two of these kind of, they're not zombies, but essentially they're brainless clones that went wrong, so they are just charging at you without, with reckless abandon. So you really have to be smart, and you've got like a shield, but it will only stay powered up for a few seconds, so you have to use that at the correct time or else they'll bash your brains in. There's a lot to it, and I did enjoy it thoroughly. So I mean, Borderlands VR is Borderlands in VR. It's good. It's good, but it's Borderlands again. I think
Sure, we should say it's Borderlands 2. I've just
Borderlands
realised that.
2, yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
And like, I don't think I can fairly put it into a list without playing more. But like, it's done some, like, there's a new mode where it slows down time, like bullet time, like a lot of games. But it really does work in VR because, like, those are the Bullymongs. I love that name. But that when they're running at you, it gives you a chance to kind of slow it down and move out of the way and get perfect headshots off and stuff like that. And like when you're firing your gun, you're essentially just moving your head, moving the target with your head, which always is a good thing because it's like PC shooting. You've got real precision on your shot. So fair play to that. And it's great. It obviously the visuals are slightly suffering because it's not. It's through a VR headset, and that's always going to happen. But it's very good for what it is.
So we got a list of 5.
Yeah.
Persistence, Fireball, Zero Hour, Astrobot Rescue Mission, Moss, Tetris Effect. Tetris Effect and Astrobot we've talked about elsewhere. Of the ones I've played, Astrobot wins for me, with Tetris Effect in second, and then it's kind of a lottery, because again, I've only played Moss out of those three.
So I would definitely agree. Astrobot is... Like Tetris Effects, it's incredible in VR.
Yeah.
Like, it really... Like, we've talked about the soundtrack and how that works, but when you've got your VR headset on, how the visuals also interact with the sound, and you've got your headphones on, it's just the dynamic sound with the visuals happening right around you and in front of you, and especially on the more kind of intense games of Tetris, it's something special. And I think Tetris Effect just on the PS4 isn't anywhere near as good unless you've played the VR. I think that adds a lot to the game. Whereas Astro... Go on, sorry.
No, sorry. If you no, carry on.
I was just going to say Astrobot, like, that is... It's like playing Super Mario 64, but you are in there. Like, you're essentially a robot, but you're not visible. That's just who you are. And so you are in the game behind...
Well, you are visible sometimes.
Well, yeah, but, like, you are the camera, aren't you, essentially? So you're...
Yeah, I suppose.
You turn around and look behind you, you follow your little guy around and all his friends and stuff like that. And you kind of have to move and look around, look behind you, because there's certain paths where you can take the Astrobot and collect items, or collect, like, because you've got a certain amount of other robots to collect in a level, don't you, to kind of get them all. And there's loads of hidden places, and the world's constantly change. Like, there's a lot of different variety in the world. It's not just kind of very same aesthetics throughout. You know, there's you kind of not the Wild West level, but it's all kind of sandy, rocky, and then there's all the grass, and then there's the futuristic levels, and then there's the caves and stuff like that. And it's just really fun to play. I had a lot of fun playing it, and like I said, it's like playing that old school Mario 64, Super Mario Sunshine platformer, and it just really works with the VR as well.
I think Firewall Zero Hour you've talked a lot about, and that's definitely a lock for number 3. How do you feel about Persistence in 4 and Moss in 5, and we call that one a list?
Yeah, I'm happy with that.
Brilliant. That was easy. Just when there's two of us. If we just see if we just cut Gary and Ed about, it's easy. Best VR game then, Astrobot Rescue Mission, and then from then on it's Tetris Effect, Firewall Zero Hour, The Persistence, and Moss. Now we are onto the last one of today, and this is where it has to be spoilery. We're talking about best moment in a game, and of course some of those are going to be story beats. There's no way around it. Last year, the best moment, I'll be as vague as I can, Mario Odyssey's ending, that won it. Wolfenstein's Sigrun's moment, I remember that. Nier Automata's amusement park, Mario Odyssey Donk City ending section, and in 5th place was Nier Automata's menu screen for the second playthrough. Whoa, wow. Okay, list of 15 games, moments, of which even just naming these, they're going to be spoilers. So I will read the name of the game and then the vaguest definition of what it is, and therefore you'll hear the name of the game and go, oh shit, that one is spoiled. So the first one, Assassin's Creed Odyssey, Zeus's Bulls, Marvel Spider-Man, Vulture and Electrofight, Marvel Spider-Man, Cameo, Marvel Spider-Man, The Ending, Astrobot Rescue Mission, The Seaweed, God of War, Returning Home on the Canoe, God of War, Meeting the Stranger, God of War, The Dragon of the on the Mountain, God of War, The Secret Ending, Red Dead Redemption 2, Lenny, the Lenny mission, the drunk mission, Red Dead Redemption 2, the bank robbery music when you go to Valentine, Red Dead Redemption 2, the first Arthur's romance mission, Yakuza 6, the ending, Monster Hunting Online, and Tom, the hot dog guy from Shenmue.
I added that today for you.
Yeah,
just for Adam, yeah.
Is that a cut? Is that a jokey one?
No,
Number 1, man.
Lads.
No, it's not in my top 5.
Okay, it wasn't just a jokey one.
Like, back when I played it, it was a cool moment. But, like, this is 18 years later. It was just with the re-releases. It was Adam's first time of seeing the hot dog guy, and it was very emotional for him.
So
was.
as much as that one's a sort of fun one we put on, that's just a jokey one, I put Assassin's Creed Odyssey Zeus's balls, because early on in that game you climb a statue of Zeus and you can climb up his arse crack or his legs and go onto his shaft or balls, and if you hit the balls, she literally will speak out loud when you're playing Cassandra, go, I don't think I should be here. And I thought that was a wonderful nod towards the player. It just showed that Ubisoft knew that you would do that. They knew by putting the statue with the big cock and balls in that you would go on it, and you do. But it's not really the best moment of 2018. So I'm going to cut that to... That's 13. Do we want to talk about the moments individually, or do we want to just cut them and then we can argue about them? Because we've got 3 Spider-Man moments, we've got 4 God of Wars, 3 Red Dead Redemption 2s. Should I explain what the Astrobot seaweed bit is?
Yeah.
Yeah, I do.
So as Chris alluded to, you play a giant robot, you're controlling the little robots, and now and again you see yourself as the giant robot because you'll come across some sort of mirrored surface, and there's a bit where the levels see you going through water, and of course you're controlling the little dudes swimming around, but you're underwater with them. You come out the other side and there's seaweed all over your peripheral vision, and then you look in a mirror and then you're this giant robot with seaweed hanging off your head like hair, and it's just, again, it's the attention to detail of that. I suppose it's hard to make it into a top 5, but it is lovely. You know what I mean? But I suppose I'm cutting that, aren't I?
Yes, I think so.
Okay.
I mean, hey, it got into the top.
Yeah,
the top
it
list,
got a nom. It got a nom.
I think everyone's going to have I think we're all going to have a different moment as a number 1.
I don't know.
Looking at this list.
I don't know. I've got a feeling.
Know. I think number 1's easy.
I think.
Is it?
I think so.
I think so.
Can I guess what it's going to be?
So,
are we too early
just
for
say
that?
the number so we don't have to spoil
Okay.
it.
I think... Are you talking about number 4?
Yeah.
Because that isn't mine, I think.
Well, you're wrong, but we can get to that.
Well, you're a shithead.
So let's. Oh, go on.
Marvel Spider-Man. Okay? 2 questions. The cameo, are we talking about the one that is in every Marvel property? Or am I forgetting something?
No, that's the one, I think. Yeah.
Can you miss that? Is it a story thing?
Yeah, it was during a
don't
conversation with MJ, I think, if I remember right. I think it's one of those things that I don't think it's going to be in the top 5, but it was such a lovely moment.
So spoilers,
Nobody
because
expected it.
Stanley, obviously, okay, that's the cameo. We've warned people about spoilers. We're into the nitty gritty. I think because he does it in every movie, unfortunately, not anymore. Although I suspect he'll be CG'd into some of them.
I'm sure he's recorded loads though. I think he's recorded stuff well into
probably
the
green
future.
screened as well. But what I mean is because there's so many of them, I can't remember this one. Is it to do with the pizza?
No,
or is that from a movie?
No, is he not in the restaurant or the cafe with him?
Yeah, I think he's just I think he's a janitor or something like that. If I remember.
Yeah.
And he's just he says something along the lines of you two are my favourites.
Okay, now I remember
basically,
it.
I always
Now I
wanted
remember
you
it.
two to get together, kind of
Yeah,
thing.
I remember it now in the cafe. Yep.
It's just I think it. No, I don't think
I think they
anyone.
were sharing one portion of fries at the time.
Yeah, I don't think anyone expected the cameo in the game.
No, not at all. It was a nice nod to the legend.
I think it was just a really nice moment, possibly made a little bit more so because of him. Obviously, he's died now, and I think it's kind of got a bit more, almost like a bittersweet moment. But
one of the best 5 moments of the gaming in this year.
no, I think it'd more be emotion and that'd make you put it higher. But realistically, it's not as good as at least 5 of the others on this list.
Can I cut it?
Yeah.
Okay, and I mentioned the Vulture Electro fight.
Oh, that was so good. It was such a good fight.
Okay? I just don't want to be the guy that's always shitting on Spider-Man because I really like it. I think it's quite awkward.
I think out of all the Spider-Man moments, the number 2 at the minute is the only one I'd keep in.
I mean, I'm not gonna argue that fight was a top 5. Again, I think it should be mentioned just for the fact that it's such a good fight. I think it's
cool. I just think it's a bit awkward at times. Like it almost went on a bit too long. I thought just a bit.
I never thought
the
that
Rhino
myself, but...
and.
Oh, I hated that.
Yeah, the Rhino and the Scorpion fight was nowhere near as good.
See, I died on that one multiple times, whereas I did the Vulture and Electro one first time, and I feel like that's because Rhino and it was a.
I really enjoyed the fight with Tombstone. In that
was an
room,
interesting fight.
It starts to like fire, like catches fire and stuff.
The only problem with that is that I felt like they kind of cop out at the end of it. It's a bit weird how that ends.
Yeah,
because they sort of
I think we cut it and talk about the ending, because like we mentioned in the music, like just that scene, no one expected. I mean, I didn't expect her to die.
No,
like,
I don't think anyone. Yeah,
you know,
he's
already
never
lost
dies.
Ben. Yeah, exactly.
You know?
He's already lost Ben. They can't make him lose his other carer and auntie, but they do, and it's when you know she's infected, but she's constantly to the very end does exactly what she's always done in the history of Spider-Man, is look out for others, and it's just a really tragic moment.
I think it's the moment when she basically says, "I know who you are," as well. You know, it's like I knew all along almost. And I just think that was
yes,
it's kind of a heartbreaking moment.
Yeah.
And I would argue that's in the top 5.
I think it would. Yeah, I think it would be up there.
Like I mean, there's someone here that I've not experienced, so I can't argue for them.
And for that reason alone, I think we need to put a pin in the ending.
Yeah, I'm happy to do that.
Not remove it, but I think saying it's definitely in the top 5 is slightly premature.
Yeah, I think it's up there in this list.
I think it's above some of them God of War moments, personally.
Oh, I don't agree. Not
all of them, but
maybe
there's some
one of them.
I'd say at least 2 of them. It's above.
Should we get into it?
Yes.
Okay. Should we do them in order of chronological? Okay. No, I mean chronological order.
All right. Okay.
Go on. What were you going to say? What were you going to say? I think you were going to just say. Yeah. Go on. Just go for it.
No, go for it. But I'd like to leave the best till last because.
Okay. I don't know what you think the best till last is.
No, I'm in this. No, well, the one we both know. It
number
will be
2
number
on our
one by
list
the end of
currently.
it. Yeah. Like, just fuck it. Just do it chronologically. So start with the stranger.
So meeting the stranger. God of War's meeting the stranger. I think that's the one I would be willing to cut.
Really?
That or the secret ending.
See, for me, the dragon is the worst out of all of those.
It's a great boss battle in the game.
It's a great moment, but compared to the stranger at the start, one of the best parts of the entire game.
But picking one doesn't exclude the other. Like they can both be on this list. All 4 of them can be on this list.
Personally, I don't think they should, but
it's a list of the 5 best moments in a game. They can all be on this list.
I don't think the dragon's top 5. Or the secret ending.
I fucking disagree, man. Like that dragon, they teased that dragon all the way up that mountain.
It's a cool moment, but I just don't think it's. I mean, it's easily the weakest out of all 4 of those God of War moments. Easily. I mean, I just don't think you can discount the stranger that easily.
I'm not. I think I put it on the list.
The stranger is one of the strongest moments in the entire game as well. It's one of the most memorable moments. Not just because it's like more or less the first thing that happens. It's just the way that's done and the fact that it's just the entire way through that fight, you don't know who he is.
No, you don't know until much later.
Yeah, and it's just like you're left wondering who he is, and you're thinking like, how the hell is this guy toe to toe with Kratos, and kicking the shit out of him at times? You know, it's like, wow, you know, he just comes to the door and then just fucking they tear the place apart.
It's so good. That moment is so good. Like, that whole fight just shows off. I remember saying this to you, Adam. I just went, I see directing in video games in a whole new way because of that exact moment. Like, it's as good as any Marvel movie. Like, in terms of like action and just like sheer intensity and stuff, and he's such a cool character. And some people have said that they do find it too long. I don't.
No,
I don't find
it
long.
maybe
I think
goes
that
on
kind
one
of-
round too long.
I think it's kind
Maybe.
of, it needs to be long because it's like, it shows you how much this guy can take and how much
Yeah.
Kratos can take. You know, this, but
It's
it
good
never
for
tells you
newcomers, I
why.
suppose. See, so it's right. I mean, the secret ending. You'd cut that?
I would. It's really cool, but at the same time, it is basically just going, okay, there's a sequel coming. You know what I mean? It's like,
Well, no, it isn't because that's a dream. Because
is
when you
it,
carry
though?
on up, yeah, well, they say it is because after that happens, it cuts back again to the game and Atreus saying, "I had the strangest dream."
yeah, but
So,
is
yeah,
it
right,
a dream
no,
or is
it's
it
not.
him
It's a premonition.
seeing- yeah, that's
it's a premonition,
the thing.
but it's also slightly cop out because you don't know. It's a very short sequence. It's a very cool sequence, but like, I wouldn't take that moment over 2 of these Red Dead moments, whereas the other 3 God of War ones I'd keep. Well, I would definitely keep 2 of the God of War moments. I'd keep 2 of these Red Dead moments.
But personally, I would get rid of the dragon and the ending, the secret ending. The other 2, I think, are locks. Personally, I think that the 3 that we've got in the top 3 at the moment stay. That's obviously just my thoughts, but I do think those.
We've
two
got to talk
moments
about
that we said
returning
on-
home on the canoe. Because I think that's one of the best moments in gaming history. Full stop. End of.
It's very-
I think
it's
from
very-
the
I
moment
might-
your
I might
son
not
falls
agree.
ill,
I might not agree wholeheartedly with that it's one of the best moments ever, but
I really do.
I
think
do
from
think
the
it's
moment,
very, because I think part of that is just because you're so into God of War.
No, I don't think it is. It isn't because it's not. It plays into everything I fear, fantasy or not. The thing I personally fear above all else is something happening to my children. So moments like that in games get me anyway. The Last of Us is another one. Do you know what I mean? Those things always get me. I know Chris is with me on this. When that happens, I am no longer playing Kratos. I am Kratos. When you are told what you have to do and he realizes what that means, it doesn't explicitly state it, but you are starting to understand. Because the whole game, the whole time you're thinking, they'll do blades though. They will. Of course they will. But the longer it goes on, the more you think, will they? Surely it goes from they will to that point you're like, well, they will, won't they? I mean, you wouldn't leave that out. You'd find a way. Then you get on the canoe, and the world changes around you, and you have that conversation, and that person tortures you, tries to manipulate you, and then you go home. He goes to the secret compartment and he pulls them out, and now you know. And if you were learning and you were understanding, and then he puts them on, and he walks to that door, and he tells her what he tells her, and then the game says, "Play with these blades," and you feel like a motherfucking badass. Like, you feel like the most powerful fuck piece in the world. You feel like everything is built. That whole sequence, it's one shot, but it's that whole sequence builds to the moment where you are given back control and you press those buttons you've become familiar with, but you have a new weapon, but the new weapon's also familiar, and you just melt their faces. Literally melt them with the fire. And I don't think any game this year has sustained that kind of tension, the thrill, through a combination of cutscene and action gameplay. I just think that is a benchmark in putting a game that's all about combat, a game that's all about you learning combos and actioning them, to take that control away completely and say, you're going to watch this scene, quite a long scene, and then we're going to hand you back the reins. But to have that happen and for you to be sat on the edge of your seat going, oh my God. I think I don't want to... There's no way I can end this speech without saying it's my number one with a bullet. It is the moment I knew that game was going to be one of the best games of the year and one of my and pushed to be in my top 10 of all time. Like, it was the moment that any doubt about it being a 10 out of 10 evaporated, and you're only really halfway through. That moment is the colours, the way the darkness enraptures Kratos in the canoe, the desperation, the if you needed it, the proof that, yes, he's a bit of a dick, boy, but there's nothing in this world that will stop that man protecting that boy. And that's fatherhood. Like, you can be angry at your kids, you can argue with your kids, you can raise voices, but there is a deep-seated thing that you will do. If you have to cut your arms off to save your kids, you do it. Like, there is, and it channels that, and for me, it gets me, and I can't really explain it any other way than it channels that deep-seated. Like, it's almost one of the things, you don't want to know what I would do to protect my kids. You don't want to go down. You're not going down that road. You don't want to know how far I'd go to protect my kids, Chris. Mate,
I can't add anything. You've just nailed exactly what that moment is. Like, midway through a game where you have no idea that it's going to happen, because you've passed the point where you're kind of waiting for it to happen, and you're just enjoying this game now.
Yeah,
and it's like, from the moment he starts to get ill, and you start to get an inkling that there's some references to going back to the past to save him, and you know what you need to do, that whole thing. And then that moment where you know they're coming out, that feeling you get when you see him reach for the chains, it's just, oh God, it's like, fuck me, how could they have made this game any better than it already is? Like, that is the moment it's a 10. That is the moment it's a 10. It was the moment it was a 10 for me, and it had to do fucking shitloads wrong for that to drop at all. And it's incredible storytelling, the way it builds from, like, the quietness on the canoe, like just the whole scene up until you get let loose with those chains. It's just unbelievable. Like, everything about that one scene is just remarkable.
In many ways, I'd say that's almost built from the very start. You know, when his bandage falls a little bit, and he has to then, it's like, I think that's kind of, that's basically saying at some point, without you realising it, it's saying at some point, you're going to know why he's doing that. To anyone that's never played God of War, it's like, you'll understand when you see this.
When Kratos talks to Athena as he leaves the door,
Number one.
Yeah, like, okay, can I just quickly, can we just go on to another moment that I personally absolutely adore? Because I think, like, the points you're making of the canoe moment, I'm so there with you. Like, I think everybody who's experienced will all turn around and be like, yeah, that was absolutely ridiculous. Like, that was so good. But I have to say, guys, like, this year, it's not as powerful. Don't get me wrong, it isn't, and it's. This is where I struggle, because the weight of emotion is so much different. But I have to say, Red Dead 2.
Hang on. Before we get there, I want to read you the quote, okay? Because I have come prepared. I want to read you the quote. Athena is saying, She says, there's no way... And think about this moment again. Remember yourself playing it. Remember what's happening to Kratos. How he's... Excuse me, sorry, something just fell off my wall. How he's left this other world from these other games, right? And she says to him, there's no way you can hide, Spartan. Put as much distance between you and the truth as you want, it changes nothing. Pretend to be everything you are not, teacher, husband, father. But there is one unavoidable truth you will never escape. You cannot change, you will always be a monster. And Kratos turns to her as he walks through her, and he says, I know, but I am your monster no longer. That is not just Kratos saying that. The game, the series that could not transpose from that era to this era with this social climate, it's a message to that as well. That Kratos is a monster. Those games don't get made anymore. You can't have a mini game where you hammer a button to have sex with prostitutes. They're not prostitutes. You can't have that. I am your monster no longer. He has transcended her. This game has transcended its past. It is... I am your monster no longer. It kind of reminds me, in a funny way, of a thing I saw happen once, where two of my friends were having an argument, one a large gentleman, one a small gentleman. Turned round, and one of them, they were about to fight, actually, and he just turns round to him and says, you fat bastard. And, that's low-hanging fruit. And the bloke, beautiful timing, turns to him and says, mate, I can lose weight. You'll always be a cunt. And it's that kind of... Yeah, like he's kind of saying, I am a monster. I am. But no longer am I yours.
Imagine if that was the actual dialogue in God of War.
I mean, right after that line, the God of War theme is queued up. Like... I think it's one of my favourite moments in any game. And speaking of the Red Dead stuff, right, I do think the Lenny and the drunk mission is incredible. It's something Rockstar don't do. They don't tend to do cutaways and stuff like that. They don't tend to do that in games. It's not their thing. And I think it's in the list. I think it's in the top 5. I
just want to give a minute to it at least, this one particular moment, because I do feel no one expected it.
No, not at all.
When it starts happening, you're like, what's happening here exactly? And then it goes on for so long, and you think it's something that, like, if that was in a game, it'd probably be just a cutscene for about.
So, how did you end that
seconds.
mission, by the way? Because I've played through the game twice now. How did the mission end for you?
I was outside, and then I started walking, and I slapped myself off a pole.
No, with the police chase you, I mean.
Yeah, that's like I hit off a pole and then I just landed.
So you woke up in jail?
Yeah.
So you can actually escape the police. I did the second. Yeah.
Wake up in jail?
Well, if you get caught by the police, you wake up in jail. That's what happened to me on my first time. The second time, I managed to escape them, and I woke up the next morning in the middle of the woods, vomiting, and like I thought that
That's what happened to me. Yeah. That's what happened to me.
Okay, but you the first time I actually got caught, and I woke up in prison. They let you out, and you're like hungover.
I just thought like the whole scene was so funny. It was so funny how it was done. And like I think there's certain areas like all of Red Dead that you can actually miss if you don't do it. I think like I went upstairs and there's a couple of people who don't walk into a room to see, like, I think it's Lenny having sex with Lenny.
So again, the first time I did that, the first time you can go upstairs, you bust into a room and there's two people having sex, and Arthur just goes, you're all right, and walks off. And then the second time you can go up the stairs, like you say, there's two more people having sex and they're both Lenny. And not just that, the way the dialogue options change to like NLR, you know, like it's a magnificent. It's on the list by easily.
When he's walking around, he's just like, Lenny! He's just shouting Lenny constantly. And then there's just loads of Lenny's dancing.
Yep.
Like,
and then he goes to have a fight, and it cuts to him fucking line dancing. and then it cuts to him pissing outside, or was it when he's drowning the bloke? And
yeah. And the camera's going all, the angles are weird.
It cuts to first person.
It turns into pure insanity.
Yep.
Like, it almost feels like Arthur Morgan has just lost his mind completely. The way he's laughing.
They are the first and only developer to capture what it's like to genuinely have a right old piss up on the town.
Yeah.
And I think it's my number 2. Like behind the canoe. Personally, I think the bank robbery music stuff is amazing. Do you remember it? Excuse me. Do you remember it at all? Like it's when in chapter.
I don't really remember it.
Chapter 3, is it
4?
It might be Bill.
Is it chapter 3?
No, it's definitely 3.
like-
It's definitely 3.
Oh,
Chapter,
right.
Bill reminds you, hey, it is Bill, the one on the massive horse, isn't it? It's definitely Bill. He realises you never did rob that bank in Valentine, and you go back, and all the way back there's you, Bill, I think Lenny, and one of the women. I can't remember which one it is. It's the one who's like long blondish hair. The larger woman, I think, and you go back, and the whole time it's like this. It almost sounds like Handgun, the song. It's like like really thumping bass, like it's almost in your throat. It's so heavy bass, it's like that the whole ride there.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
You know the bit like the
I know
bass,
exactly, yeah.
and it's just there, and then you get into town, and it lightens up a little bit, like the bass, and then you go to do the robbery, and it's just like. Oh, what a section that is of that game.
There's one Red Dead moment missing on this, but like I won't get into it. But like it's like the Arthur romance mission. Is it strong?
It's the weakest of these 3. I think it's the first time it truly humanises him as a human that isn't just about drink, fighting, guns. Like it's the first time that makes you realise there's depth to Arthur.
Yeah,
but it isn't quite as strong. I would be willing to cut that here and now because I think although it's worth a shout, it's not as strong as it. And I think we do need to start cutting, so I'm going to cut that unless Chris feels strongly otherwise.
No, I'm happy to cut that.
So we still have 4 to cut, by the way. Let's just get to this quickly. I think we have to cut Monster Hunter because let me explain why. Because although it definitely was one of the most fun moments we had as a team. Hang on, I'm talking myself back out of it now. But like,
hear me out here a second.
It's not
before you do anything.
Go on.
Crazy here, right? Like, I do think it's in my top 3. It's definitely in my top 3. The moment that we had, I said this before, I think on day 1.
Yeah,
we had such a good time playing that.
Yeah,
like we did, and it was a very strong gaming moment. In fact, I remember vividly. Every detail of us taking down that Diablos, whatever it was. Like, I remember it so well. I remember the battle. I remember everything about it. Like, that's saying something. We created that moment ourselves.
Yeah, and that's what's making me think maybe it should, because it's about our favourite moments.
Yeah, and we created, like, no one else, people obviously have experienced a very similar thing, but that moment that we did, no one else has.
So 9 moments. Cut one.
I want to hear Chris's talk for Yakuza.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Because I don't know the ending of this, but I
Nor do I, and I sort of don't want to, but that's part of the job, I'm afraid.
Okay, so
yeah,
I feel very passionately about this, and I think this 100% deserves to be in our top 5. By the 6th game, assuming that everyone's played all of them, or at least some of them, and there's plenty of opportunities over the last few years for people to play at least 2 of them before this came out, with Zero in the first one, and knowing his journey up until this game, the ending embodies everything that this character is. And essentially what happens is, because there's a lot that happens in the story to get to where he is, but it ends up where he's chased down these 2 criminals, these 2 parts of this gang that have caused whatever's happened to happen. And along the way, you've been looking after this baby who was, whilst I'm so shit with names. Harumi, the girl.
Haruka, I think.
Right, fuck's sake.
I don't know who Harumi is, but that's twice you've called her Harumi.
Is it the boy? Anyway, I'm really kind of diluting my passion for this game. I don't remember the names, but you're looking after her baby, and she finally comes out of the coma, and you find out who the father is while she's in a coma, and is one of the 4 characters that you've gotten quite close to on your travels. And it all boils down to this one moment where one of the bad guys at the end pulls his gun out, aims it towards the girl and the baby. The kind of dad who you have grown close to, and you've kind of, at first when you found out it was the dad, you were annoyed, but that's what Kiryu is. He's a really caring father to her, and he finds out like any dad would be when their daughter starts dating. But he actually realizes he's a good guy, and he's you've been through a lot together. The dad steps up and goes, you know what, I'm gonna die for my baby. And then just as he fires a bullet, Kiryu steps in, gets shot, falls to the floor, dies, credits roll, and you just so like, how can he be dead? He's invincible. Like, how can he be dead? And it's just like, obviously, like, what in the time he's been shot to the moment he closes his eyes, a lot happens, and you kind of ties up all the bits of the story, and the credits start to roll, and you're literally just like, oh my god. End credits in a hospital bed.
Sounds like the first Red Dead.
Yeah, but at least he's like, and then in the hospital, the end credits open up. Kiryu's in a hospital bed. He isn't dead. He's still alive, but he gets offered a lot of money to kind of continue this life. He decides to leave Kamurocho for good, forever, even if that means never seeing
Haruka
again, and the husband and the baby, and he decides to leave, and then like the final scene is kind of it's like him stood outside the orphanage where they've all kind of grown up together, and where he used to look after Haruka when she was younger. Boom, nailed it.
Well, you trust in me is what you're doing.
Hey, look, you can't be wrong.
I definitely can.
There's a moment where the baby stands up and she's taking her first steps and she's running towards her mum, and you see that, you smile and you walk off, and the last shots of the games are the baby taking steps towards Haruka, and it's focusing on his feet and it's focusing on your feet as you walk away and leave forever. Game ends, and it's like, fucking well played. Like, throughout
like a mic drop.
Every Yakuza game ever has been a mixture of humour and drama, and it's always found the perfect balance. But this was just like, this summed up everything that you'd played up until now, and it ended with such an emotional like wallop like that I've never seen in a Yakuza game. Like to this extent, it was perfect, and like it did everything in that like 10-15 minutes. You thought he was dead. He came back. You have to deal with that, and then he leaves, and it makes that game for me.
So I think that's a fair shout. I think that sounds amazing. Cut a game.
Bank robbery music. I would cut the. If we've got a cut, then I would cut. I would. In fact, no. I would keep Monster Hunter.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm honest, because Adam's right. Like, that is my favourite online moment this year, and I absolutely adored that game when it first came out. I haven't played it since February, but those moments where we were after that Diablos were just amazing. It was great. It was great online gaming. For saying I don't play a lot of online gaming, really.
Yeah,
like, I could have played that, given the fact that if we never had to work again and we all were all off and we all could just play games forever without worrying about any consequences, I could live in that world, I think. But that one particular moment for me was perfect. I would keep Yakuza, I would keep Lenny, I would keep the canoe, and I would keep Spider-Man. But
I think the stranger has to stay, and I think the canoe has to stay.
I'm not going to argue with the stranger because it was fucking amazing.
I think Lenny has to stay.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm going to get... I don't think I'm even going to try arguing for Spider-Man.
1, 2, 3, 4.
That's 4.
And then
Now I think it's kind of between Yakuza and Monster Hunter. Then.
Yeah, I'm not happy about... So I'm going to cut the bank robbery music because I think that one came quite late. I'm not happy about losing the secret ending of God of War, but I think Chris's passion for Yakuza 6...
I just think, mate, if you... Because I know you love Yakuza, so I think if you saw this, you would be with me 100%. Just because...
Yeah, I agree. I believe you. It sounds like Red Dead for me.
Of everything you've seen in the games, like that whole scene is just really well directed.
So I'm going to delete the Dragon on the Mountain and the secret ending.
Okay.
I love that secret ending, but
Okay, I'm going to delete the Dragon on the Mountain.
I love that. God damn, God of War is a good game.
Isn't it? Isn't it a good game?
It's just such a good game. Okay. Yeah, go for it. Delete Dragon and delete secret ending, I think.
Sure about that?
Oh.
Because ultimately, you haven't played Yakuza 6, so you have to ask yourself, what do you prefer, the secret ending or Monster Hunter that we played?
Well, I definitely prefer Monster Hunter.
Well, it's gone.
I'd love to see Monster.
It's gone. Now we have this argument. And I think this is a Chris thing.
This is a Chris thing. And it's kind of like fair game of what
I think so too. I think which one went more, really. So this is what we're asking. So
Okay.
it's just our friendships on the line.
No, I know, but like I experienced
this.
Yakuza...
I'm going to say something unfair. Okay.
No,
I'm going to say something unfair.
no, you're not cutting it.
But I have to say it right. This is the God is a Geek list, and 3 of us played Monster Hunter online together and agreed it was amazing. Whereas Yakuza 6, we're only going off what you said. Now, I believe that if you truly believe that, then it's Yakuza wins, and I will yield to you because it's anyone who makes an impassioned argument, that should be enough. One person's impassioned argument should be enough to warrant it being on this list because it's a vital cog within the team.
Okay, so I thought you were going to say cut Spider-Man. So that
I would cut Spider-Man out of these 6, but there's no point me trying. I think the Spider-Man section is slightly too long for my tastes. I would have actually gone with we've spoiled the shit out of everything, so we're going to spoil more. I would have said I prefer, actually. I understand what you mean about the emotional resonance of all those Spider-Man scenes. I actually preferred the Miles stuff in the post-credits. I thought that was great, and I thought that really set up the second game. And I think that's where the DLC upset me so much. Because that's sort of... Is it during the credits where he jumps on this? He's like,
I think it's either post-credits or something. Yeah,
it's either post or during. And that scene is like, oh God, I can't wait for the next one of these, because you can see what they're going to do. And that's why the DLC kind of... I think, did you say it the other day, Chris? It kind of... softened the rest of the game a little bit because
I think
Miles does keep popping up in those DLCs and it keeps teasing him that you're gonna you'll be Miles, and you know it's not out at this point, but there's no way in that third DLC you get to play as Miles, no way, but you will in the sequel.
No.
I just love that scene. I love that. It's just that summed up the kind of fun of Spider-Man in a cutscene to me. The kind of not flippancy, that's the wrong word, just the joyous. Like if the best bit of Spider-Man is how joyous it feels to traverse, and it is, let's be honest, it is. The best thing about that game is the movement. It's incredible. The cutscene where he just like, so Peter, there's this thing, boing, he's on the ceiling. That scene kind of encompassed that fun gameplay in a scene. Like I love that. I'm there's no point me arguing. there's no point me arguing. But equally, I will not budge on those God of War scenes or Red Dead. I just can't. I can't.
No, I think that's fair. So Yakuza was like, as I've just mentioned. I'm not going to go on about it. How much I loved it, and I absolutely love Monster Hunter. I think the thing that I know which one I'm going to cut, and I think with Monster Hunter, that there's no moments where in this list where you do anything with anyone else. It's all you're playing it on your own, and they're great moments. Same with Yakuza. With Monster Hunter, that was a moment shared with friends online in a world that we could all enjoy, and it was just the amount of effort it takes to get ready for that one fight.
Just loading into it.
The loading, yeah, but like the prep and the items and the crafting and you're just talking about your adventure ahead and how how we're going to do it or what we're going to use to do it. And it was a completely new experience for me because there's not a lot of online games where that has really happened. They're all quite quick load-ins and all that. It wasn't just the fighting the monster, it was the build-up and everything about it, and just like roaming around, like going, oh, have you collected this from over here? Go and grab that. This is over here, and it's just like,
I loved all that.
Yeah, and it was just great. Like
another part I absolutely loved to add to that was if you died and you were like put back to the camp, or whatever, and you knew you had a feeling you were almost getting this monster, and you knew two of your friends were like probably close to dying now. So you're doing your absolute best to run all the ways back, and you'll get there, and the setup could be just perfect where you could just jump off and land on top of it, and you're just like, I'm back, lads, and you're just like, holy smokes, and carnage just erupts.
The speed, you almost wish you could break the game and run faster.
Oh man,
but
it's so good that way.
So I
would cut Spider-Man from this list. That's not happening, so that's off the table. Forget that.
Yeah.
With that in mind, I would cut Yakuza.
Look,
Gary, however, you haven't spoken for a while. You are alive still, right?
I am. I'm still here.
Okay. Again, it feels a bit harsh because you don't
I'm going to
haven't played
completely
either.
Yeah, I'm going to kind of completely defer to you guys on this one because I don't think it's
Okay.
fair me answering either one because
you
I've
haven't
not
played
played
either.
them.
I think it's down to
Yakuza,
Chris. Okay.
but like.
No, that's fine. I've cut it. It's fine. No,
it
Chris,
really
fine.
is.
Chris,
No,
I've cut it.
no,
Chris, no, Chris, I've cut it. It's fine. It's gone.
But fair play to Sega for making one of the best games of the year, and it is one of the best moments of the year.
It's the sixth best moment of all of 2018
Exactly.
in gaming,
I just,
according to Chris.
yeah, of course to be.
Let's whittle these down then. Does that mean Monster Hunter's fifth? Because I would put Monster Hunter, our online moments above Spider-Man. I'm sorry. I don't mean to... Oh, God. I really like Spider-Man.
I'd be with you. I'd be with you,
I
Alan.
know my top 5 from 1 to 5 straight away. I think the Lenny, number 2. I think the Canoe, without a shadow of a doubt, is first. I
don't think there's any way we can not put that at number 1.
The Stranger is third. Monster Hunter 4, Marvel, Spider-Man 5.
Say that slower. Right, hang on. I caught the last bit.
So Lenny second.
This isn't obviously confirmed. I'm just putting them into.
Yeah, just
okay. That's how it looks. So it just gives you a chance to look at it and see how you feel about what you're seeing.
That's my list that you've written down. Sorry, listeners. We'll get there. We'll get there.
We will, but yeah, this is just
that is it for me.
We've always said these are live. These are live to tape. We are deliberating. That is why we call them our deliberations. 2 and 3. I just look at 2 and 3, and I just don't. I think the rest of it I agree with. I just don't know if 2 and 3 is right.
I think Chris is spot on with this choice, if I'm honest.
Gaz, have you seen the Lenny stuff yet? It isn't that far in, but also you've not had the time.
No, I'm only like 4 or 5 hours in max so far. So yeah, I've not seen this yet.
I just think it's so unique to Rockstar. Like I've never in a million years expected this kind of stuff to kick off. Like it doesn't just happen here. It happens a bit later on, but the roles are reversed. It's when you're serving moonshine to a bar.
Oh yeah,
And it kind of cuts in and out and then they're all getting fucked out the faces
and that
on the moonshine.
Awesome
and you're
gunfight
playing
in
that.
Another Escape.
Yeah,
Properly feel like a badass cowboy in some of these missions. Yeah.
but it's just genuinely like funny. Like it's just hilarious, and like you don't expect it from. It's very serious up to this point, and it just shows you there's more.
Do you know what? You've won me round. You have, because just thinking about when he opens the door and goes, that's enough. That's actually enough for me. Like he's got a great cowboy. You're all right. You know, but then when I think of him, I can also then hear him like going, "You're all right, girl. Hey, girl, you're all right, girl." Yeah, no, okay, fine. I'm with you. Okay, that's it. We've locked it. We've done it. Best moment in 5th place, Marvel's Spider-Man ending. Yes, that sounded weird. Marvel's Spider-Man ending. Number 4, Monster Hunter World Online, playing with friends. Monster hunting online, essentially. Number 3, God of War, where you meet the stranger. Number 2, Red Dead Redemption 2, the Lenny Drunk mission. And number 1, the best moment of 2018 in gaming is God of War's The Returning Home on the canoe section. That's day 4 in the books. We also did Best VR Game, which Astrobot Rescue Mission won, with Tetris Effect, Firewall Zero Hour, The Persistence, and Moss making up the remainder of the top 5. Best Audio was also won by Red Dead Redemption 2. You know, Red Dead's starting to get into these awards now a little bit. At 1 Best Audio, God of War also definitely in and around there. 1 is 2nd place for Best Audio, 3rd place Smash Brothers Ultimate, 4th place Spider-Man, 5th place Celeste. Tomorrow is the last day of our deliberations, but not the last podcast of this year. But we will be talking about the most anticipated game of 2019. Holy shit, that's a lot of games. And we will then be trying to get our game list of 22 video games released this year into a top 10 of the year. It's the big one tomorrow. It's Game of the Year time. Adam, Gary, Chris, thank you very much for your time today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Listeners, we know you'll be there. We'll speak to you tomorrow for the big one. We'll speak to you tomorrow. Bye-bye.